artery, you see so many people glued to their seats. That's why I put glued arrival there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohan Rajan. And this is Dr. Ruchi, who has made this bonding of north and south. I think she had some ulterior motive.
Oh, no notice. I only chose the speakers, no license or anything.
Dr. Parikshit Gupta, again, our IPS.
Right. Speaking after Dr. Rajan, because he speaks so wonderfully and his videos are phenomenal. I'll just take exactly 3 minutes of your time because we are running out of time. Well, we all know generally the trend is ECC to SICS to Phaco. So for the first time, Professor Goyal has asked me why or when to do a reverse one, as to when to convert, make it from Phaco to SICS and SICS to ECC. We all know Phaco is the king of cataract surgeries, and this is how the transition is. But then, as Malik sir had said, small incision cataract surgery is a great alternative, and all of us must learn it. It's like the Indian tiger. It's royal in its own way. And of course, Phaco has a learning curve, and as Dr. Rajan was showing up here, it is our overconfidence. We think we can easily do it, and we land up with a trouble like this little child. And I think Indian surgeons or surgeons anywhere, in some way, are children at heart. We think, ho jayega. And we push things beyond the limit, and that's the time when we land up into a trouble. We follow whatever people tell us blindly. Our judgment goes wrong, and we don't know what to do. We try to do one thing, and sometimes we end up doing another. So I'll not go into the details of this. We are running short of time. There are 3 places where I think we have to convert. One is, of course, if we do not, if we fiddle, if we struggle too much inside the anterior chamber, we get this first picture, we land up with a persistent corneal edema. If we turn too much, we can, of course, injure the iris. And lastly, of course, as Dr. Rajan had said, we can have a rent, a dropped nucleus, or a retained cortex. To prevent all of this, I think we must think of perhaps a reverse conversion. A complete cortical cleanup at all times using the automated vitrector. Ensure that the lens is stable and you suture in time. So when do you think of enlarging your incision, going from Phaco to SICS or from SICS to ECC? One, of course, if the pupils have become small and we can't see a thing, the corneas have become very hazy, or the cataracts are very hard. Enlarge. There is nothing wrong in suturing. And suture well to see that the incision is properly closed and there is going to be no problem the next day. And because we've done a lot of research comparing Phaco with small incision surgery, and we've published about a dozen papers in peer-reviewed journals, we have come to a conclusion that there is a trade-off between astigmatism and corneal clarity and endothelial safety. Smaller incisions have lesser astigmatism, but they are harder on the endothelium. And everybody at all times is not as great a surgeons as people sitting on the dais over here. And if we try to make our incisions smaller and smaller, we may get out the nucleus through a smaller incision, but the next day the cornea is not very clear. And larger incisions may induce more astigmatism, but they are safer for the endothelium. And of course, results have shown that there is no great difference between Phaco and SICS and ECC as far as endothelial cell loss is concerned. But for hard cataract, the ECC is perhaps the safest of cataract surgery. All said and done. And suppose we make a larger incision, we have to convert. We ensure that the tunnel integrity is well by irrigating through a side port. And of course, suture and see to it that the entire tunnel is opposed by a cross suture or a box suture, not just that the external lip is sutured. Because over the last 10 years, frankly, a lot of us have got out of the habit of suturing. And when we have to suture once in a while, we try to do a hasty job. So finally, I always say, if the Phaco is like the lion, the king of the cataract surgeries, or the SICS is like the tiger, the ECC still is a good alternative. The leopard is still a great carnivore, and it's the carnivore that has survived and that is not likely to get extinct at any point of time. So please do not limit yourself just to the technique of cataract surgery. And as Professor Malik always tells us, what is more important is the outcome of the patient in the long run and not what technique. Thank you.